Welcome back to Your Own University, where we're going to talk about what sets you apart from everybody else in the world, because you matter. In today's episode, we are going to talk about one of the highest forms of emotional intelligence and an elixir for your manifestation. Because when you do what we're going to talk about today, when you bring this experience to anything in your life, you immediately bring a shift of reality, allowing you to step into whatever comes next in your beautiful life. Hey angels, today we are going to be talking about the emotional spectrum of this act called acceptance. Accepting what is. And oftentimes when we accept what is, we immediately jump into what we wish it was. And what that does is it literally wipes out all form of movement, because we get into the lower vibration of wishing things were different and trying to control things. However, when you just sit back and you look at your life and you accept what is or what was, that's when you can actually move forward and start creating things that are different. So I want to give you this formula today so you can truly step into your best life and start manifesting things that you desire to manifest just for you. So what about your current situation are you wanting to fix, change, fight, work against? What about your current situation is mundane and normal, maybe way too in your comfort zone, like you have experienced it way too much? We do this with emotions, we do this with circumstances, we do this with people and relationships, we do this with stories in our heads about what we wish would be. And what that does is it equates to a fighting in our body. Literally, your adrenals and your kidneys start like pumping out adrenaline so you can fight whatever you were not happy with. So say somebody has depression and they have this depression, they feel horrible all the time. I've had many clients walk through depression. It kind of goes hand in hand with childhood abuse. So they have this depression or they have this anxiety. That's another big one. And they hate it. They don't like the feeling. Now this feeling is always there. It's always there. This feeling is constant. This feeling runs in their life. This feeling makes them uncomfortable, and they're constantly running a story in their mind and throwing out memories of why it's wrong, bad, and why it needs to change. Now, who says that feeling depression or feeling sad is going to feel good ever? It's never going to feel good. But when you accept the fact that you have anxiety or that you have depression, and instead of running away from that feeling, you actually run into it and you start exploring within yourself, like, what am I feeling? What does that taste like? What does that feel like? How is it expressing? Then that feeling, even depression, even an anxiety disorder or panic disorder or anything like that, PTSD, it gets less scary, right? It gets less scary. And so you have this emotion, this feeling, this circumstance, whatever, that you don't want to feel and you don't want to be in. And instead of making it wrong, you shift it to acceptance. So acceptance looks like curiosity in a way. Acceptance looks like you can simply feel into whatever you're feeling without making a story about why it's wrong or bad or shouldn't be. Once you have felt whatever you need to feel, once you have looked at whatever memory, whatever circumstance is coming up or what you're in, Then from that place of acceptance, you can powerfully choose how you want to move forward in your way. And this is how conscious lifestyle design works. This is one of the elements that we use in the Amazing You program at Your Own University, and one of the elements that we use in our coaching certification program to help our clients move forward and help ourselves move forward from this place of wanting things to shift and change and being uncomfortable with the uncomfortable, to how do you get comfortable being uncomfortable, and how do you get comfortable with feelings that are slow and dense and nasty, even anger, right? Even anger, hatred, all those lower density things like that we don't want to feel. We don't want to spend our time there, but they're there, and if you don't feel them, they continue to persist, right? So the formula is adding in a dash of acceptance. And with that acceptance, accepting that, well, this is the moment, how it is right now. Now, there's two things that we do here. We say, this is how it is right now, and I wish it wasn't this way, and this is so bad, and I'm gonna cry, and I wish it was changed, and I need to change it, and we push and we force and we make ourselves wrong, literally, like the underlying feeling there is like, I'm wrong for feeling this way. Or we say, I'm gonna feel this way forever, and I'm just depressed, or I'm just anxiety ridden, and we do this label thing, and we kind of play this victim, powerless game over whatever is, right? And I'm just using these emotions because, you know, people suffer from them, but it can be a circumstance, it can be a job, it can be a relationship that you're in, that you're like either or right? Either way, this is victim mentality. We're moving right past survivor mentality, because you're going to come into that survivor mentality when you say, yes, I accept things as they are, accept this feeling. And then you're going to dive past that into like a courageous person. You're going to lean into whatever it is that you're experiencing, and you're going to just be like, what is this all about? Like, am I scared about this? Am I open to this? Am I looking forward to something different than this? And why am I here right now? Those are really powerful questions to just discern, like, oh, well, I'm depressed. Not necessarily why am I depressed, like the whole story, right? Because I can get you more depressed. But like right now, like what am I feeling? Why am I sitting here right now? To feel this, to express this, to allow this emotion, to allow this circumstance to move through me in my life lessons. And then from that place of acceptance, you can then step outside of what is happening at the moment, and you can powerfully choose how you want to live your life. Meaning, say that you're depressed and you've been fighting this depression, you've been covering it up with pills, maybe you've been covering it up with whatever, right? Whatever you cover it up with, staying in bed or acting bubbly and happily outside, whatever it is, you're denying a piece of it, but you come into total acceptance with it. You allow yourself maybe to even lay in bed for 3 days. You allow yourself to have that really good cathartic cry, right? And you like just accept it completely and dive into it. I've never had anybody last longer than 3 days in that acceptance. So you're there, you're with that negative, icky emotion. Then it's like, well, what do you want to feel? What do you want to be experiencing? Maybe you want to attract a better job. Maybe you want to make more money. Maybe you want to have a different kind of relationship. Maybe you want to just understand like, wow, I have never ever experienced this happy, right? I hear it from clients all the time. I just want to be happy. Excellent. What is happy? And they're like, I don't know what happy is. And I'm like, well, there's the problem, because we know what's comfort, right? We know what's in that comfort zone. So if you've been depressed, you've been around your parents that are depressed, you've been around something abusive or depressing, then you're like, oh, that's what I know. So the body, the ego keeps you there. Well, when you accept that that's where you are without fighting it, wanting to change it, then there's the opening for you to get out of your comfort zone and figure out something like, well, what is happy? What is joyous? What is expressive? What does beautiful mean to me? What does my day perfect day look like to me? What would that feel like? And you begin to mentally visualize it, emotionally begin to experience it and get comfortable in your new comfortable. And then it starts manifesting in your life. But before you do any of that, you have to get into acceptance. So today's lesson at Your Own University is all about you accepting what is right now, not because you like it or you necessarily want to feel it or you necessarily want to be in that situation, but because it is your life. And so first and foremost, check out what you're fighting, check out what you don't like, check out what you're complaining about, where you're playing victim. Then invite the dash of acceptance in it. Begin to explore that acceptance in your life, and then boom, choose what you want instead. You don't have to ask how, let the how come as it does, but just choose what you want instead. This is your formula for really moving your life forward in a beautiful way. I hope that you liked today's episode. Please give me a thumbs up. Share this episode with your friends if you feel like it's full of wisdom. Tell me some things that you are accepting in your life. I'll give you a shout out and I'll send you something really special as well. Go to Your Own University and register in our newsletter and get our 365 days of love. And you can also find out more about working with me privately. I do have a few openings right now for my private coaching practice, as well as the coaching curriculum at Your Own University if you've ever thought about being a certified holistic wellness coach. Love you so much. Have a beautiful day.